Good morning, Year 6. I hope you've had a lovely weekend and now you're ready to start work for week 3. We're going to start with our usual Monday morning work, reasoning and problem solving. The first questions we're going to look at are fractions of shapes. The first question, tick each shape that is exactly 1/4 shaded. The first thing we need to do is think about a quarter of what? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all of our shapes are divided up into 12. Now let's see how many are shaded in each shape. So this one's got 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 and 3. So we need to find out what 1/4 of 12 is. And to find a quarter of anything, you divide it by 4. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So 3 over 12 is going to be 1/4. And if we simplified that, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So let's have a look. So the ones that have 3 over 12, which is this one and this one, are 1/4 shaded. Each diagram below is divided into equal sections. So shade 3/4 of each diagram. So let's find out how many sections there are in each diagram. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 8. So as we know, to find out a quarter of something, we divide them by 4. The first shape, 4 divided by 4 equals 1. So 1 is equal to 1/4, but we want 3/4. So 1 times 3 equals 3. So we need to shade 3 of these sections. So the next one, 12 divided by 4 equals 3. That's 1/4 times that by 3 equals 9. So we need to shade 9 sections. And here, 8 divided by 4 equals 2. 2 is 1 section, times that by 3, and that gives us 6 sections, which is 3/4. There you have it. Here are some shapes made of squares. A fraction of each shape is shaded. Match each shape to its equivalent fraction. One has been done for you. See, we've got 7 over 10, and on our shape, it's split into 10, and it has 7 shaded. So let's have a look. They all look the same, so they're all out of 10. Now let's see how many they've all got shaded. So this one's got 6. This one's got 3. This one's got 6. Sorry, this top one's got 8, not 6. I can't count. And this one's got 5. So we haven't, if we look to the right hand side of the shapes, we don't have 8 over 10 anywhere. So let's try simplifying this fraction. So what we do to the top, we do to the bottom. So if we try and halve them or divide by 2, so there are 4 2s in 8, there are 5 2s in 10. Now let's see if 4/5 correspond, and yes it does. 3 over 10, let's have a look to the right. Do we have a 3 over 10? Yes we do. Don't need to do anything with that fraction. And 6 over 10, we need to simplify. So if we divide 6 by 2, we get 3. Divide 10 by 2, we get 5. So let's see if we have 3/5. Yes we do. Now 5 over 10, it's the same as 5 is half of 10, so our equivalent fraction would be a half, and we have a half. So round to the nearest whole number. As we know with rounding, we always look at our first digit and the digit next to it. So on here we have 5.05. So 5 and the 0 are the important numbers. So 0, as we know we're rounding, if it's less than 5, we round down or stay the same. And if it's more than 5, we round up. So this is 0, so that's going to stay at 5 wholes. The next one, 5.5 wholes, 5 will round up, so that will round up to 6. And we've got 4.4, so 4 is less than 5, so that's going to stay at 4. And 4.5, 5 rounds up, so that's going to round up to 5. Okay, our next question. Round 124,531. First of all, to the nearest 10,000, 1,000, 100. So I'm going to write this out over here, just so it's a little bit bigger. So first of all, I'm going to take this number and I'm going to place it on top of my 10,000. So 1, 3, 5, 4, 2, 1. Now it's asking me to round to the nearest 10,000. So this is our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands, our tens of thousands, and our 100,000s. Okay, so I know this is the important one to me. So I've got 124,531 and I'm going to round it to the nearest 10,000. So I'm looking here at my tens of thousands, and that's this column here. And I'm looking at the number next to it, and the number next to it is 4. That means we stay at 120,000. Our next number is 1,000. Let's write it out again to make it bigger. Okay, and I'm looking at 1,000, and this is our 1,000 here. So the important number is the 4. So we've got 124,531. And the number next to the 4 is a 5. So that therefore is going to round up. So this is going to round to 125,000. Okay, our next one, round to the nearest 100. And we have our 1, our 3, our 5, and our 1, 2, 4. So it's our 5 that we're looking at, and our 3. So this number is going to stay at 124,500 because the 3 will stay the same. Okay, which of these numbers gives 80 when rounded to the nearest 10? So I'm looking at the 8 and the number next to it is 4, so this is going to round to 80. 87, the 8 and the 7 is going to round up to 90. The 72, the 7 is less than 5, so it's going to round to 70. This one's going to 7, and 6 is going to round up to 80, and 90 will stay the same as it's a 10. So the two numbers that are going to round to 80 is this one and this one. Well done if you got those correct. Okay, so I'd like you to have a look at these questions, try and calculate the answers, pause the video. Okay, let's see how you've done with these questions. So we have 20,906 rounded to the nearest 100. So we have our units, our ones, our tens and our hundreds. So we need to look at the hundreds column. So we have 20,900 and then it's a 0 next to the 9. So this would stay at 20,900. Then we have 2090.6, and we're looking at the hundreds. We've got our hundreds. Sorry, they should be capital letters. So we have our hundreds, our tens, and our ones or units. We're looking at the hundreds, and this is a 0, and the next one's a 9, so that's going to round up. So this then is going to become 2,100. Now we don't need the 0.6 because that would just be a 0.0, and we don't need that. Then we have 209. So we're looking at the 100, which is the 2. The one next to it is a 0. So this would just stay at 200. We're rounding to the nearest hundred, so we do not need the decimals. So complete the table. Round 39,476 to 10,000, 1,000 and 100. So if I write it out on the side so I've got a little bit more room, I will put in the numbers above to make it easier for me. So round to the nearest 10,000, so I'm looking at the 10,000s, which is here. So I have 39,476. So I'm looking at my 3 and my 9, so that's going to round up because it's 9. So the 39 is going to round to 40. And we fill in these numbers with zeros. I'm looking at my next one, which is 1,000. So this would be the thousands column here, because we have our hundreds, we have our ones or units, we have our tens, we have our hundreds, then we have our thousands. So I have a 9 and then I have a 4. So 4 is less than 5, so that will stay at 39,000 exactly. And then we have our round to the nearest 100, and our hundreds column will have 4 in it, as we can see here. So we look at the number next door, and that's a 7, so that's going to round up. So we will have 39,500. Okay. Complete this table to show the numbers to the nearest 100. So round it to the nearest 100. So they've done the first one, and they've said 316 rounded to the nearest 100 is 300. So then we've got 3,162. So we're going to look here at the hundreds. So we have a 1, then we have a 6. So this is going to round up. So this therefore will round to 3,200. Then we have 31,628. So we have our ones, we have our tens, we have our hundreds, we have our thousands and our tens of thousands. Sorry, you can't see that. So it'll be our ones, our tens, our hundreds, thousands and our tens of thousands. So this time we are looking at the hundreds again. So in the hundreds this time we have the 6, and then we look at the number next door, which is a 2. So it's going to be 316, and a 2 is less than 5, so it's going to stay 0, 0. And then we look at our last number, and we have 316,281, and we look to where the hundreds are, and the hundreds place has got a 2. Now next to the 2 is an 8, so it's going to round up. So we have 316, 3, 0, 0. Now round, oops, sure that's the same one as we had. Okay, we'll just forget this one because this is the one that we've done on the prior page. Okay, now we're going to look at multi-step problems, our favourites. Okay, Ken is playing a game. He has 4,289 points. Then he scores another 355 points. Ken's target is 6,000 points. How many more points does Ken need to reach his target? So first of all, we need to do a simple column addition. to add these two numbers together. So 9 add 5 is 14, 8 add 1 add 5 is 14, 3 add 1 add 2 is 6, and 4. So he's got 4,644, and we need to subtract that from 6,000. So we need to turn this into a 5, this will be a 9, this will be a 9, this will be a 10. So 4 from 10 is 6, 4 from 9 is 5, 6 from 9 is 3, and 1. So he needs a further 1,356. Next, large pizzas cost £8.50, small pizzas cost £6.75 each. 5 children together buy 1 large pizza and 3 small pizzas. They share the cost equally. There's a couple of steps to this problem, so let's do the first one. So we have £8.50, and then we need to find out what 3 small pizzas cost. So we do a simple short multiplication. 3 5s are 15, 3 7s are 21, and 1 is 22. 3 6s are 18, and 2 is 20. So we need to add on £20.25. That's 5, 7, and that's £28.75. And now we need to do a short division to find out how much each child paid. So 5 doesn't go into 2, it becomes 28. 5 into 28 is 5 times, and there's 3 left over. 5 into 37 goes 7 times, 2 left over, and 5 into 25 goes 5 times. So each child pays £5.75. Our next question is, on Saturday Lara read 2/5 of a book. On Sunday she read the other 90 pages. To finish the book, how many pages are there in Lara's book? So she had 2/5 and then she finished the book by reading 90 pages. So 2/5 to make it a whole would need 3 more fifths. So that 3/5 has got to equal 90 pages. So we need to find out what 1/5 is in order to find out how many pages are in the book altogether. So 3 divided by 90 equals 30. So that is going to equals 1/5. So to find the whole book, we're going to have to do 5 times 30. A quick short multiplication. 3 5s are 0, and 3 3s are 15. So it's going to be 150 pages. Okay, 200 children went on holiday. 10% of the children went to Wales. 25% of the children went to Scotland. Now, we're going to divide 200 by 10. And that would move 1 step to the right on our place value chart. So that would leave us 20 children that went to Wales. And now we need to find out 25% of children went to Scotland. And then how many more children went to Scotland than went to Wales. So to find 25% of anything, you halve it and halve again. Or you divide by 4. So if we halve 200, we get 100. If we halve 100, we get 50. So 50 children went to Scotland. So we need to find out how many more children went to Scotland than Wales. So 50 subtract 20 equals 30. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at these questions. So let's see how you've calculated these questions. A bag of 5 lemons costs £1. A bag of 4 oranges costs £1.80. How much more does 1 orange cost than 1 lemon? Okay, so 5 lemons cost £1. So it's going to be 5 divided by £1, and we make that into a decimal. So 5 doesn't go into 1. 5 goes into 10 twice, and 5 doesn't go into 0. So each lemon is 20p. Then oranges, £1.80. Oops, decimal point in the wrong place. So £1.80. And that splits between 4. So 4 doesn't go into 1. 4 goes into 18 4 times and 2 left over. And 4 goes into 25 times. So each orange is 45p. So how much more does one orange cost than one lemon? So it'd be 45p subtract 20p, which would give us 25. But because we've got a pound sign in there, we're going to have to display it like this, 0.25. Okay, there are 2,400 leaflets in a box. William and Ali take 450 leaflets each. Adam and Chen share the rest of the leaflets equally. How many leaflets does Adam get? So there are a couple of points to this question. So there are 2,400 leaflets. William and Ali take 450 leaflets each, so let's find that. So 450 times 2. So 2 zeros, so 2 5s are 10, 2 4s are 8 and 1 is 9. So they've had 900 leaflets. Adam and Chen share the rest. So if we do 2,400, subtract 900, 0 from 0, 0 from 0, can't do that, 9 for 14 is 5 and 1. There are 1,500 leaflets left. Adam and Chen share those leaflets, so we need to do a simple bus stop or halve it. So 2 doesn't go into 1, 2 goes into 15 7 times and 1 left over. 2 goes into 10 5 times and 2 doesn't go into 0. So Adam would have 750 leaflets. Okay, the next question. 7 children measure their heights. So Stefan's 144 centimetres, Lara's 136, Olivia 142, Chen 143, Maria 152, Dev 148 and Sarah 150. What is the mean height of the children? Now the mean means that you add them all together. And then divide them by how many there is. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children. So you divide your answer by 7. So let's add those together. So 144 add 136. So 4 is 10, 8. So you've got, that's those two done. Now let's add on 142. Now let's add on 143. Now let's add on 152. 148. And 150. Now we've got 1,015 centimetres, and we need to do now is divide that by 7. 7 doesn't go into 1. 7 goes into 10 once, and there's 3 left over. 7 goes into 31 4 times, and there is 3 left over. And 7 goes into 35 5 times. So the mean average would be 145 centimetres. Okay, I hope you got those answers correct. Okay, the next questions we're going to look at are units of measure. And the first one, here are 5 letters in a scale. We've got A, B, C, D and E, and the scale starts at 1 litre and finishes at 2 litres. And you are asked to match each letter to one of the capacities in the list below. So the capacity is just the units of measure. And we've got 1,200 millilitres, 1.7 litres, 1 1/4 litres, 1,560 millilitres and 1.7 litres. Now we need to make all of these the same, and 1 litre equals 1,000 millilitres. So that will help us. So the first one's okay. So the next one, if we use our place value, put ones or units, whichever you prefer. I want to change the colour of my pen. Okay, pop 1.7 in, and we'll move it 3 spaces to the left because we are timesing by 1,000. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we have to hold these spaces with zeros. Then we have 1 1/4. So if 1 litre is 500, sorry, if 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres, 0.5 litres is going to be 500 millilitres. And then 0.25 litres, which is the same as a quarter, will be 250 millilitres. Because when we're getting a quarter of anything, we divide by 4, or we halve, and we halve again. So the next one, if we put our 1,000 and our 250 together, we would have 1,250 millilitres. Then this one stays the same, and this one we need to use our place value again. So we have and we have our 1.07, and it's going to move 3 spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we fill this space with 0. Okay, should be simple now. So A is the smallest amount, so our smallest amount is here. Then B is the next smallest amount, and that's going to be here. Then C, going to be here. D and E. Okay, Kate has a piece of ribbon 1 metre long. She cuts off 30 centimetres. How many centimetres of ribbon are left? So 1 metre equals 100 centimetres. And we need to subtract 30 from 100. Be 70 centimetres, and that will be your answer. Okay, Amir has 3 parcels. Parcel A and B together weigh the same as parcel C. The 3 parcels weigh 800 grams altogether. As you can see, the scales are balanced, so each side weigh the exact same. So half, or divide by 2, 800 would give you 400 on each side of your scale. Parcel A weighs 250. How much would parcel B weigh? So we have parcel A at 250. We need to subtract that from 400 to find out the weight of parcel B. And that is 150 grams. Okay, your turn. Over to you. Okay. Here are your questions. I'd like to pause the video and have a go. Okay, let's see how you did. So this table shows the weights of some fruits and vegetables. Complete the table. Okay, so we have grams and kilograms. Potatoes have been converted for us. So we have 3,500 grams is the same as 3.5 kilograms. And then we have 1.2 kilograms, 250 grams and 0.03 kilograms. So first of all, let's look at our apples, and we're going to use a place value chart. And we're going to pop in our 1.2. And we're going to times by 1,000, so everything's going to move 3 spaces to the left. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to hold these 2 spaces with 0. Then we have our 250, and we have the same again, thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, tenths and hundreds, and we pop our 250 in. This time we're going to divide, so we're going to move to the right 3 spaces. thousandths in there. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we have to hold this place with a 0. So 0.25 because we don't need this 0 on the end. Then we've got our ginger 0.03. So we do the same again. Thousandths, hundredths, tens, units, tenths, hundredths. Okay. So we pop in our 0.03, 0.03, and we move everything to the left 3 times because this time we're timesing. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we hold this with a 0. So we would pop in just a 30. Okay. Right, the International Space Station orbits the Earth at a height of 250 miles. What is the height of the International Space Station in kilometres? Use 8 kilometres equals 5 miles. So we have 250 miles and 8 kilometres is 5 miles. So let's find out. So we have 8 km equals 5 miles. Okay, so we would divide 250 by 5. 5 doesn't go into 2. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 doesn't go into 0. So we had 50 lots of 5 miles. And we then times that by 8. So 8 zeros are 0. 8 5s are 40. So it's going to be 400 kilometres. Okay. Amina's bed is 190 centimetres in length and 91 centimetres in width. She is making a 1/10 scale model of the bed. What are the length and width of Amina's model? So she's making a 1/10 model, so she's dividing both numbers by 10. So 190 on our place value. Everything's going to move to the right once. So 0 is going to move to here, 9 is going to move to here, and 1 here. So the length is going to be 19, and the width, we've got 91, and everything's going to move 2 spaces to the right. So that's going to be, 1 space to the right. It's going to be 1, 1, so that's going to be 9.1. Okay, Freddie is half as tall as his mother. Freddie is 1 metre shorter than his father. Freddie's father is 180 centimetres tall. How many centimetres tall is Freddie's mother? So Freddie is half as tall as his mother. Freddie is 1 metre shorter than his father. And Freddie's father is 180 centimetres. Okay, so if we look at Freddie's dad, 180, and 1 metre is 100 centimetres. We subtract that from there, gives us 80. And Freddie is half as tall as his mother, so we need to double this. 2 zeros, 0, 2 8s. So Freddie's mother is 160 centimetres. Okay, the questions we're going to look at this time are problems involving percentages. Okay, a cat sleeps for 12 hours each day, and that is 50% of its life spent sleeping. Now, 12 hours is half of our day, because our day is 24 hours. And percentage is always out of 100, and half of 100 is 50%. Write the missing percentage. A koala sleeps for 18 hours each day of its, and what percentage of its life is spent asleep? So if we turn our 18 hours into a fraction, 18 over 24, and we simplify that fraction, so what times table number goes into 18 and 24? And it's 6. 3 6s in 18, 4 6s in 24. Now, as we know, percentage is out of 100, so we need to divide 100 by 4, which you can halve and halve again, or do a bus stop, which is 25. So 1/4 equals 25, and we did times that by 3 because we need 3/4, and it's 75%. Okay, 250,000 people visited a theme park in 1 year, 15,000 of the people visited in April, and 40,000 of the people visited in August. How many people visited the park in the rest of the year? So first of all, we need to add together our two percentages, which become 55%. There's a couple of ways that you can complete this calculation. You can divide by 10, times it by 5, and add on your 5%. You can use 50% of 250,000 and then add on 5%, or you can do it the way we do in school. Okay, and we're going to times that by 55. 5 zeros, 5 zeros, 5 zeros, and 5 zeros. 5 5s are 25, 5 2s are 10, 2 is 12, and we put our magic 0 in. So 5 times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 0, and 5 times 0. 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 2 is 10, and we add in our 2, and then we add these together. And now we take this number and we divide it by 100. So everything's going to move 2 spaces to the right twice. So 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 2, and here is your answer. $137,500. Okay, Amina asks 60 children to choose their favourite flavour of jelly. These were her results. Raspberry, 12 children, lemon, 8 children, orange, 15 children, blackcurrant, 25 children, and that's a total of 60 added together. What percentage of the 60 children chose orange? So, first of all, we need to look. At our 60 and our 15, and if we made that into a fraction, we simplified. What number goes into 15 and goes into 60? 5, 3 5s in 15 and 12 5s in 60. And if we simplify this again, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 12 4 times, and that's a quarter. And as we know, percentage is out of 100, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. So that would be 25%. You could also do converting your decimal. So you could go an easier way around it, and you could have your 60 here and your 15 on top, and we tried to get it out of 100, so we'd have to times them both by 10 first of all, and that would be 150 over 600, and then we would have to get it to 100 because our percentage is out of 100, and if we divide 600 by 6 we get 100, and if we then divide 150 by 6 we get 25. So that would be your 25%. Okay, let's see how you've done with these calculations. So there's 2 ways of doing this. Emily makes 250 grams of a snack mixture. 15% of the weight is raisins, 25% is banana chips, and the rest is peanuts. How many grams of peanuts does she use? So we add the 15 and 25 together, gives us 40%. have a look at our 250, and if we divide that by 10, everything's going to move to the right once. That leaves us with 25, and then we times 25 by 4, which gives us 100. So the answer would be 100 grams. And if you prefer to do it the other way, we would have our 250 times 40. First three numbers are going to be 0 because we're timesing by 0. Then we put our magic 0 in, and then 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 times 2 is 8, and 2 is 10. We add those together. One, two, three, 4. And we divide that number by 100, moves 2 spaces to the right, which would give us 100 grams. Okay, Liam did a survey of 55 people to see how many were left-handed. Liam says, the results show that exactly 10% of the people in the survey are left-handed. Explain why Liam cannot be correct. Well, if you took your 55 and you used your place value and you divided by 10, everything would move to the right once and you would get 5.5. Now we couldn't have half a person. 5.5 would say 5.5 people. So we cannot have 0.5 of a person. Okay, 15% times 1,000. It just means the same, 15% of 1,000. You can find 10% and then halve it for 5%, or you can do it the way we're doing in school. So if you were doing that way, 10% of 1,000, everything moves forward once. We'll give you 100, and half of 100 is 50, so you would have 150. We'll give you 15% of 1,000, or you could do it the normal way, and that would be 0, 0, 0, 5 ones are 5, 0 in, 1 0, 1 0, 1 0, 1 1, and everything would move to we would divide this by 100, everything would move 2 spaces to the right. So it would be 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So your answer is 150. Same again here, 5% of 500, 7 zeros, 7 zeros, 7 5s are 35, and everything, if you divide by 100, would move 2 spaces to the right, giving you 35. Okay, 460 times 45, 5 zeros, 5 sixes is 30, 5 fours are 20, and 3 is 23. Magic 0 in, 4 zeros, 4 sixes is 24, 4 fours are 16, add 2 is 18. Add those together. And then we would divide this number by 100, and that everything would move 2 spaces to the right, leaving 207. Then 95% of 240, you can find 10%, you can times it by 9 and halve it and add on your 5%, or you can do it this way. 5 zeros, 5 fours are 20, 5 twos are 10, 2 is 12, 9 zeros, 9 fours are 36, 9 twos are 18, and 3 is 21. And then everything would move 2 spaces to divide by 100. And your answer, 228. I hope you got those correct. If you did, well done. Okay, I know that was a bit longer than normal, but you only have your reasoning and problem solving questions to complete now. Next week, I will go through a few more of the questions, a few different ones again.